To get our press ready for printing, first thing to do is to get our off contact, platen distance, and tilt all standard across our print heads. Setting up off contact is essential for getting the best print possible. To adjust off contact on the 250, loosen the print head bolts. Standard off contact is 1/16 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch is too much off contact. To check for proper off contact, tape a quarter to the top of the screen and make sure it is even across the entire platen. If you are having your shirt stick to the screen while printing, raise your off contact a bit on all print heads. It should pop off the shirt when you pull your squeegee off. When you're printing garments of different thickness, increase the off contact so the screen can pop off the shirt. Now let's talk about tilt. The tilt should be the same on the back and the front. If the tilt isn't even, the print will lay down more ink in some spots. This can affect fibrillation. On Riley 250 presses, there is a knob that can adjust the tilt. Adjust it so the front and back of the screen are the same distance from the platen. Check and make sure your platens are at the same distance on your print arm. Measuring from the bearing gate will ensure that your print is in the same spot on each platen. These three knobs are a huge game changer when it comes to registering screens. Without micros, it can be a lot of time-consuming trial and error. This is the X Micro. It moves the screen across the X-axis or left to right. These are the Y Micros. If you turn a Y Micro individually, it will start to push one side of the print head forward, rotating the screen. This moves the screen in an arc across the platen. Having separate Y micro adjustments allows a much larger range of movement and allows you to rotate the image if needed. But if you move both Y micro knobs at the same time, the screen will move up and down. The trick is to rotate them in the same direction in the same amount of rotations to move evenly up and down. Turning both knobs to the right will bring the screen towards the press. Turning to the left will bring the screen towards the printer. Before you start to register your print, make sure each of your micros are zeroed out. This makes sure that all of your print heads are in the same spot and avoids pushing them to their max distance. Use this mark to reset the X and Y micros to 0. It's a good habit to keep an eye on this marker and make sure that you aren't pushing your equipment too far to one side. Our design is 4 colors, so we have 4 screens. Let's register this a couple different ways. When registering with film, you don't need to put any ink into the screens just yet, or heat up the flash. It's a bit quicker, but not as accurate. Start with your base or outline. Tape the film down where the print will land on the shirt. Then loosen the screen and match the registration marks of the film to the screen. Lock it in when you have it as close as you can, and then use the micros to get it perfect. Registering to a print is considered best practice, because you are actually printing and seeing where the ink lands. Use a test shirt and print the base where you want the print to land on the shirt. Flash it to get it dry, then move on to the next screen. To test for registration, you can use clear packing tape or clear transfer tape over the entire design. That way you can print and see where the ink actually lands. Then just wipe it off and keep going until you have all your screens lined up. First, place the screen and the clamps as close to aligned as possible. This is where the registration template, or T-square, will come in handy. Registration is a lot easier when the image is in the same spot across all the screens. While locking in your screen, it is common for registration to shift a bit. Micros are especially helpful when getting it back into perfect registration. Without micros, you would have to try and nudge and adjust it back or unlock and try again. Once you're lined up as close as possible by hand, use the X and Y micros to make small adjustments to get everything perfectly aligned. Register all of your screens to the base before putting ink in the screens. Once you think you have perfect registration, pull the screen up and back down to make sure it falls in the same place. This makes sure the screen will go back to perfect registration while moving the print heads. Once this step is done, you can put the ink in the screens and test registration. Here I was a bit off after printing it for the first time. If you look at the registration marks, you can see I was a bit left and a bit too far up. Now I have to turn my X micro a bit towards the press, and both of the Y micros a bit towards the left. Now we are in perfect registration for the pink screen. Now let's do it for the blue. This one was way too far to the right, so we just need to turn the X micro a bit towards the printer. One thing you will run into while testing registration is once you print, it will become harder to see through the screen and make adjustments because there is now ink in the mesh. This is where registering to the print is way more accurate than registering to film. It takes more time, but you are seeing how the ink will land on the shirt while printing. After you get all your screens registered, do one final test print on the garment that you are going to print. Just check for any mistakes before committing to the production. Look for any pinholes and check to make sure that any Pantone colors match the correct color. Also make sure everything stayed in registration. If you are working for a client, do a final confirmation with the client. Now that our screens are registered, it's time to print. Welcome to How to Screen Print with a Kit 250 edition. My name is Ryan and I will be walking you through some advanced techniques and processes of screen printing. I will show you how to register multicolor jobs with X and Y micros, mix Pantone colors with a mixing system, how to cure with a conveyor dryer, and more. Whether you're looking to start a business or create custom apparel, this course is the perfect way for you to level up your skills. This course builds off the 150 edition, which is also free. Check it out, learn the basics of screen printing from setting up a darkroom to printing a one-color design. Don't miss out, enroll today and start printing with confidence.